quantum artificial intelligence.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Big red lips and long blonde hair. Like the way you walk when you walk over there. Boom. All right, got to go to Ric Flair. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report for a Thursday. It is a thirsty Thursday. It is January 19th. Hope you have yourself a good start to your Thirsty Thursdays. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you're using a mobile device. Today's podcast is brought to you by your good friends right here at ATSstats.com. Also, hockeypicks.com. Make your hockey selections each and every day at hockeypicks.com. Follow the top pickers. And right now, Alfredo Nevarez is the leader. Actually, he's the most followed. And let's take a look at the top scorer. The top scorer, Roy Bashnik, 860. Magyar, 755. That's Wayne Ramsden. Dom Maglio, Mags, my good friend from Montreal, is right there at 744. And there's yours truly, Ron Raymond, in fourth at 702. Went 4-1 yesterday in the Hockey Picks selection, so check it out, hockeypicks.com. ATScalculator.com. Got a good one in the NBA tonight. You got Brooklyn taking on the Phoenix Suns. And let's see what the old ATS calculator says. Survey says. And we got the Brooklyn Nets winning by 0.59. 222 is the total. And yeah, Phoenix Suns not the same team they were last year. And my good friends at parlaycalculator.com, which are associated with also bestodds.com. I met some new friends in the industry before Christmas, and I want to give a shout out to all my friends out there. They're all over the place. They're scattered all over the place, but bestodds.com, those are the website. You want to check it out. They sent me a beautiful sweatshirt and a hat, and I want to thank my good friends at bestodds.com. Check them out. It's a beautiful website, and they got some really interesting features that I like, and maybe we'll get to that later on in the show. All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome to the Raymond Report. My name is Ron Raymond, a 5-time sports handicapping champion. Based out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. This is where I hang my hat each and every morning, and you can find me here each Thursday now. Instead of a weekly show, we go every Thursday, and I know some of the guys are missing the daily show, but this, from a business perspective, this works a little bit better for me. And so check us out here every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Ross the Boss Benjamin, my good friend Ross, from I think Ross is located in Rochester, and so Ross the Boss Benjamin will join us here at the top of the hour, and we'll talk the NFL playoffs, and we'll see if we can get Ross riled up here on a Thursday, a thirsty Thursday. I don't want Ross drinking this early though on a thirsty Thursday. Maybe we'll give him a coffee or something, maybe a decaf, but we'll get Ross the Boss all fired up here on a thirsty Thursday. It is January 19th. All right, hope you guys had a good week. Hopefully NFL was good to you guys. I know I had 2 selections. I had Tampa Bay, which didn't pan out, but I did have the New York Football Giants, which to me, it's a team you got to be careful. You know, I say it all the time on the show, and as a football coach, you hear me say this about twice a week when I was doing the daily show. In football, there's 2 things you got to worry about. You throw to score and you run to win. And when you throw to score and you run to win the football game, running to win the football game in playoff football is demoralizing. It's how you break the will of your opponent. And if Saquon Barkley can continue his running ways, that offensive line for the Giants can continue dominating like they did against the Vikings, I'm telling you, it's one of the most dangerous weapons in football is when you can run the football and you combine that with a very good defense and you get some help, a little help from your friends. It was a Beatles song on special teams. You got a pretty good chemistry to win the football. So, sweetie, but Cash the Jags last week, coach. Yeah, good job. You know what? Those you got to take those when they come, Mitchell, because you never know when. You know, in playoff football, you rarely see a team going to tank like that and come back to win, but it did happen, and you did cash a ticket. And show me the money. That's what you tell your bookmaker. Show me the money. Hey, cash money. Make it to a cash out Monday. All right. Speaking of cash out, there are some golden rules that you got to live by in sports betting. I call them the golden rules of sports betting, and my 10 commandments. Before I get to that, let's talk about the Raymond Report fundamentals. I talk about value, percentage play, performance cycles, player availability, and a money management system. And you combine all these three, and you got yourself the Raymond Report. And you can get the Raymond Report each and every day right here at ATSstats.com. And if you if you want a membership, it's $4.99 for the week. If you want a monthly, it's $24.99, and if you want a year, it's $99 for the year. And if you use promo code ATS25, we're going to extend the promotion. You get 25% off your membership by using ATS, all uppercase, 25, one word, and get 25% off your next membership here at ATSstats.com. Today in the show, you're going to hear me talk about teams that are A, B, and C. And no, we're not talking about the Jackson 5s, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. No, we're talking about A for Alpha, B for Bravo, C for Charlie, and those are my military call signs when I was in the forces. I just thought, see how everything in life just comes together when whatever you're doing. But teams with a 60 or higher win percentage, I call that the Alpha type teams. Those are teams with a obviously 60 or higher win percentage. Those are your best teams, your contenders in the league they're in. The pretenders, or the challengers, those are the B type teams, 50 to 59.9. What comes with them is moderate public confidence, medium rewards, and those C type teams. And we don't like to bet on C type teams, right, Denis the goalie?
No, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
Oh no, never.
Why not?
Why not?
Against the rules.
Against the rules to bet on those C-type teams, unless you're betting pizza money and beer and pizza money. Those are what I recommend if you do bet on teams below 500. Also, in the depending on the cycle they're in and the sport. So in the Major League, NHL, NBA, teams that are 7-0, 6-1, 5-2, I call those bullish teams. Teams that are neutral, those are teams that are 3-4 or 4-3, and teams that are bearish, those are 0-7, 1-6, 2-5. That's what I call my bearish teams. And the top 10 commandments of sports betting, and there we go. Thou shalt not bet big money on C-type teams in the Raymond Report. No, we don't do that.
No, you don't do that.
No, never lay points. Try not to lay points. Take the points or bet the money line or the over-under if you want to last longer in the sports betting world. Create your own number. It's your number against the bookmaker's number. That's why I created the ATS calculator. Follow a disciplined money management system. If you follow the Raymond Report, you know I got two type of betting accounts. I got a beer and pizza money account, and I got my investment account. Those are the ones I pick your spots, and then hopefully you cash in. And the beer and pizza money, that's the ones you want to scratch that itch every day. And if you are betting every day, I know some people, it's hard to watch a game without having action on it, but you got to learn to live with that sometimes, that it's okay that you don't bet on every game. And so I say it all the time on the show. Sometimes the best bet you make is one you don't make. And there's a tip 101. Never force a pick because you need action on the game. How many times have you made a pick and say, man, what was I thinking? Never chase losing bets on a bad day. Bet with your wallet, not your heart. NHL home favorites, NHL home favorites coming off a 1-goal loss, 60% since 2011. You know what? I got to do a little verification, because now with all these coaches pulling their goalies in the last 2 minutes, 2-goal loss seems like the norm now. I'm going to see. Last time I did it was hitting like 70% or 74. I'm going to check right there after this to see where we're at. Never bet against A-type teams who are bullish at home. Learned that lesson last year with the Atlanta Braves. The 24-hour rule of betting. Take a day off after a big win. Enjoy the win, because you know why? You just never know when you're going to get that next big win. And never bet on teams who are in a bearish cycle.
No, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
Oh no, never.
Why not?
Against the rule.
Against the rules to bet on those teams that are in a bearish cycles, because you know what? When you bet on teams that are bearish and you're expecting good things, Rarely does it ever, good things ever happen, right? All right, let's go to that NHL system. Let's see if we are still cashing tickets on that system. And let's go, wrong database. See, if you're a member of ATS, we got four databases. We got the regular database, super database, smart database, and SOS database. And I feel like I'm on a database run right here. All right, super database, because if you're a super bettor, you need this, right? Let's go to NHL. Let's go to home favorites. Home favorites coming off a 2-goal loss. 2-goal loss, and let's go current season, and let's see what the old survey says. Hey, the old Richard Dawson. Remember Richard Dawson? I think it was Richard Dawson. Survey says, and let's see what it says. Wow, 31-13. Hello. Yeah, that's pretty good in my books. Let's do the old calculator right here. So 31 divided by 44 equals 70.4%. Yeah, I'll yes please. Yeah, I'll take that.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's a winning percentage. Good morning, Gloria K. There she is. I gotta play her. Where's Gloria K? There she is.
Put that coffee down.
Coffees for closers, and we all know Gloria K is a closer. Good morning from the Windy City, Gloria K. Mitchell Watson's in the house, and hopefully you guys are having yourself a good morning wherever you're at. Again, if you're tuning in for the very first time, my name is Ron Raymond. I'm located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, that's above the 49 parallel, the crazy Canuck there in Ottawa, and we've been doing this now 27 years, and the first website I ever opened was called the Phoenix Sports Ticket, the PST. That's home team, coach. That's home team, coach. What's the home team? Did I miss something there, Mitchell? You said that's the home team, coach. Yeah, home favorites. I'm talking about home favorites. But, yeah. How about that offense?
How about our offense? When are we going to put it together?
Yeah.
When are we going to put it together?
Yeah, there's a message for the Tampa Bay. All right, great show lined up for you guys here today. Again, top of the hour, Ross the Boss Benjamin. What's up, KJ1028? Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, Ross the Boss Benjamin will be here at the top of the morning, and hopefully you guys will tune in to see what Ross has on. Let's see what Ross has on the barbecue today, right? What is he cooking up? Some good, maybe some good. What's your favorite type of steak? Are you guys strip loins? You guys like? I'm a ribeye guy. I like ribeyes. Hey, good old ribeye. All right, let me see here. What do we got next on deck? Let's go to the SBI, the Sports Betting Index, and people who watch the daily predictions on the videos on the YouTube channel saying, "Hey, today, coach, you didn't put in the SBI, the trends." Yeah, because on Thursdays, see, I'm forcing you guys to watch the show. Thank you. Wanted to confirm the exact trend. There you go. Home favorites. All right. We got that out of the way. Let's take a look at the NBA and let's see what came in last night in the association. Pretty good night for the favorites. 6-3 straight up, 6-3 to the over, 4-5-0 to the underdogs. 7-day average, 71.7% of the favorites are cashing tickets, or as my good friend Jerry Maguire would say,
Show me the money!
showing you the money the last 7 days, and 58% to the over, 57.6% of the point spread winners in the favorites. So bullish market when it comes to NBA these days, and it's important to know if you're in a bearish, bullish, or neutral market. And again, you can't control teams that are going to keep winning or losing, but you know what you can control? You can control how much money you put in those games depending on the market psychology of the betting public and what's come in. All right, it's like buying stocks, right? What's the old adage in stocks? You buy low and you sell high. Same thing in sports betting. NHL last night in the Bettman circuit, only 5 games, 3-2 to the favorites, 3-2 on the puck line, and 3-2, so 60% night, which sounds like a favorite type of number, right? 60%. 58.7% of the favorites have cashed in the last 7 days in the NHL. On the puck line, though, 57.4 for the NHL underdogs, and the over is still cashing tickets at 54.9% to the over-under, and that's NHL 7-day average. Porterhouse says KG1028. Yeah, that's a good one, the Porterhouse, right? But yeah, I don't know. Must be a Thursday, right? Do you have like a favorite steak day? You know, your meat and potato day? I don't know. I think Thursday or Saturday just feels like a meat potato day, right? Like a Thursday. You know, what do you have on a Thursday? I know Friday, I associate Fridays with pizza night. But yeah, I think Thursday and Saturdays are like meat potato nights, right? Steak night. Yeah. Hey, must be hungry or something. Thank you. Want to confirm? We got you. All right. So let's see what else is on deck. Let's go to the market index and let's see what has come in the markets the last few weeks. And again, just while we're bringing this up, if you have any questions for Ross the Boss Benjamin at the top of the hour, make sure that you type them in right there in the box. Saturday, says KG1028. Yeah, you know what? I feel like Saturday, like, you know, like your favorite meal has to have a day associated to it, don't you feel? Like, you know, like I don't know, Monday's like a chicken, like Tuesday, you know, thanks to LeBron James, it's like Taco Tuesday now. And then Wednesday's always past the night here. Hey, it's like last night was lasagna. Then Thursday, it's like steak night. Friday, pizza night. And then weekend, well, weekend, as long as you don't get too lazy and you don't do too much takeout, right? That's the key. You don't want to do too much takeout. Yeah, it's hard on the wallet, but you don't want to get lazy, right? You got to enjoy cooking and making some good food. All right, so let's take a look at the NBA, and let's take a look at the A, B, and C type teams. And those are the ABCs of me, baby. Where's my... there we go.
These are the ABCs of me, baby.
Yeah, these are the ABCs of me, and you can see the A-type teams in the National Basketball Association. You can see that, you know what? It's very rare, but we don't have a bearish team in the A's right now. It's either bullish or neutral, and the teams that are bullish right now, the same old characters, right? Boston, Denver, Memphis, Philadelphia. Well, Philadelphia coming back, and looking at the neutral teams, Cleveland, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. And you know what? It's Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn's a funny team, right? Since they fired Nash, they've done a very good job. Cleveland, you know, if you get them on the road, you gotta, you know, it's like throwing a Hail Mary. But Milwaukee, yeah, Milwaukee is tough to really handicap this year. I just don't get them. You know, from year to year, teams get a little different. Like Phoenix, right? Like last year with Phoenix, I had so much confidence when I bet them. This year, it's like it's like take a wish and a prayer or something. All right, the B-type teams. Yeah, we got some bearish teams right now. New Orleans, yeah, not good. Didn't help me last night. Where's New Orleans?
Struggling.
Yeah, they are struggling. They struggled to cash our ticket last night. And the Dallas Mavericks, wow. Luka Doncic goes crazy there for like 60, 70 points there a few weeks ago. And all of a sudden there's an APB out on them, right? So Dallas not looking good. New Orleans. And you got Atlanta. Atlanta is 5-2 in their last 7. And Miami, all of a sudden Miami is looking pretty good. The one thing with Miami though is you got to check their injury report every day, because yeah, they're somewhat of a mash unit when they line up to play each and every night, right? It's just you wonder if it's a strategy, You just wonder if it's a strategy. Let's it's like let's lay low and just play rope-a-dope for the entire season and then turn it on near the end. But the only thing with that, if you play rope-a-dope like that, then you're gonna get a low seed and you're gonna get a tough opponent in week 1. I don't know. Who knows? The way sports is these days, you just don't know what some of the management strategy is, right? All right, so NHL, the National Hockey League, the Boston Bruins. It's just amazing what they're doing this year in a parity-driven league. They only got 9 losses on the year, 35-9. You know what? I don't count the when I do the standings here. I don't care about overtime losses, overtime wins. Bottom line, do you cash a ticket or not? Do you think the bookmaker cares about overtime losses and overtime wins? Oh no, you got an overtime loss, so that's we're not win or loss. Why do we need like 16 columns now to identify a victory or a loss? No, 35-9. Tampa Bay. You know what? Tampa. You guys know me in baseball, right? I have this thing with the Rays all the time. Tampa Bay, there's something in Tampa Bay. I don't know if it's retirement state where a lot of money there, but 29-14. New Jersey, after going through a bit of a hiccup in the month of December, 29-15. They're bullish. Winnipeg, 29-16. Of all the teams right there, the A-type teams, Winnipeg is the one that really surprised me the most. It surprised me they got spanked by the Habs the other night, 4-1 in Montreal. But Winnipeg's a funny team. Winnipeg is an interesting team to follow. You got Vegas, Carolina, struggling. The Canes 2-5 in their last 7. Toronto, Toronto's Toronto. They'll do what they do in the regular season, and then thanks for coming out in the playoffs. But I'm an Ottawa guy, so what do you expect? I gotta be like that, right? Ask anybody in Ottawa how they feel about Toronto, and ask anybody in Toronto how they feel about Ottawa. It's that good, healthy rivalry that you need. What's up, the 8th Hawkage? What's up, Ron? Hope you're having yourself a good day. Top of the hour, Ross the Boss Benjamin will join us, and we will go through to the we'll talk about some playoff football, see what Ross thinks. I got a little segment with Ross on football. I just thought of it last night, and I said, you know what, I'm going to run this by Ross and see what he thinks. Oh, it's not really, it's just an observation. But the B-type teams, the Islanders, yeah, struggling. Yeah, and there's Buffalo again. Buffalo, hey, one day they're in the lobby, next day they're in the garage, right? This is what I call like the penthouse. The A-type teams, the B-type teams are in the lobby, and then the C-type teams, those are the teams that are in the garage, right? Thanks for coming out. Outhouse to the penthouse. All right, those are your hockey market index. And again, you can get this at the Raymond Report each and every day by tuning in to the website. Again, you're noticing I'm wearing a nice sweatshirt, courtesy of my good friends at bestodds.com. Give them a check out. Let's go to best. You know what? Let's go to Best Odds. I'm going to show you something that they have on their website. I know you guys are thinking, oh, you plug. No. You know what? These guys are legit. So if there's one thing I like here. It's this right here. Who do you think is going to win? So you say Arizona State or the UCLA Bruins. So let's say you like. I haven't followed any college basketball, so I'm just going to go with that. It's a good pick right there, UCLA. And if you go to analytics, you can also check out the score, the line. And again, the thing that is good is that they give you the best line, the best odds, hence the domain name, bestodds.com. Betting action, 72% of the money, 80% of the bets is on UCLA, and 20% of the money and 20% of the bets is on Arizona State. So this is the feature that I like. In fact, I was talking about this with a client about before Christmas. I like this feature because he was talking about the ATS, and he's saying, you're missing, like, you have everything covered but volume. Where's the volume of betting happening? And I said, you know what? Best Odds has a really good feature right here. And I think that's a pretty good gauge of checking out the volume of bets, right? So check them out, bestodds.com. And you know what? They're great guys. They are really super guys, and I wish them all the best. All right, let's get to the ATS Standings Report. And let's go to the ATS Standings, and let's check out the type of teams in the Raymond Report. And I'll get to that in just 1 second. You can see here the best. Let's see what the best over/under team is in the NHL. Edmonton Oilers, 30-14-2 to the over. Same thing with the Sharks, 30-15-1. And the only difference is one's a winning team, one's a losing team. So I don't know what you get out of that. The best home teams in the National Hockey League, yeah, surprise, surprise. There's the Boston Bruins, 21-4, 17-5 for the Bolts, and 17-6 for the Winnipeg Jets. Wow, maybe that's why they're an A-type team, right? They're tough to beat at home. So bit of a Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. What are they on the road? No, they're pretty good on the road. They got a winning record. It's tough to win on the road, man, in any sport, especially in the pros, right? New Jersey, wow, look at that, 18-3 on the road this year. So yeah, they don't hide. They don't hide on the road. They hide a bit at home, but they don't hide on the road. Seattle Kraken, second-year expansion team, doing very well on the road Warriors. But again, I love to see the strength of schedule. Yeah, they could be 18-3, 16-7, but who do they play, right? Are they playing the Beatables and the Vegas Golden Knights, 15-5? Those are your top three teams right now on the road this season. I heard a rumor Connor Bedard could go to Chicago Blackhawks. Nathan Rourke could soon be playing for Jaguars. Well, first of all, Connor Bedard needs to get drafted. Hey, Scott, he has to get drafted. But yeah, Connor Bedard is the real deal. If you watch the World Juniors this year, his snapshot it's almost like a Joe Sakic wrist shot. Remember Joe Sakic? Joe Sakic had Wendell Clark, some of the best wrist shots in the game. Wendell Clark, Joe Sakic, Connor Bedard's right up there with that wrist shot. Hey, that little one-timer snap, boom, top shelf for Granny Keys to peanut butter. All right, Nathan Rourke could soon be playing for the Jags. Yeah, you know what? So Nathan Rourke comes out of Ontario, Canada. I think it's Burlington. I think he used to train with a buddy of mine down in Toronto, Larry Gisdanis. And then Nathan went to, I think he first started with like Louisiana Tech or somewhere down there. Then he went to Miami, Ohio, and then he lit it up, right? Then he got drafted to the CFL, and we saw what he did this year in the CFL, and good on the BC Lions to give Nathan Rourke a shot, because the one thing, being a quarterback coach, and there's always this perception that Canadians can't play quarterback, but it's coming along. The last 10 years, you've seen more Canadian players play quarterback in the I don't know, in the NFL if there's any Canadian well, there were one now, Nathan Rourke, but in the CFL, you rarely see a Canadian player play the quarterback position, but it's coming. You're starting to see more and more Canadian players play the quarterback position in the CFL, and it's good to see Nathan Rourke get a shot down south. And he did very well in Miami, Ohio, and I'm sure he's going to do well with the Jags. I don't know if he can play now. I just wondered if I don't know if he's on the roster now, or is this for next season? I'm not too sure. Mad Dog, need to win the lottery for Bedard. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people want to win the lottery for Connor Bedard, right? This guy is pretty good. All right, the type of teams in the Rain Report. So here, what I like to do, and I'll do this for the NBA in just 1 second. The A-type teams, the teams I talked about, the Alphas, those are the teams in the penthouse. New Jersey, Winnipeg, Carolina, Tampa Bay, Boston, Toronto, and Vegas. They all have a combined home record of 67%. So the A-type teams at home this year, 67%, 64.4% on the road. So if you're ever wondering, can I trust an A-type team on the road? Yeah, they're 3% less better than they are at home. But you know what? 64 is pretty good. And the B-type teams at home, 53.5 and 54.8, which is pretty good, which is really good, because normally you start seeing a decrease in the percentage play home and away. And, normally you lose more road games than home games. But the B-type teams, yeah, look at that, 54.8%. Who's bringing up that average? 18. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Seattle, 16-7. Take away Seattle, that's probably knock them down to below 500. And the C-type teams, the rule about C-type teams.
No, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
Oh no, never.
Why not?
Against the rules to bet on those C-type teams, right? You know why? Because on home, they only win 43.6% of their games, and on the road, at home, and on the road, 36.09. So that's why you can't trust C-type teams in the Rain Report. All right, let's go to NBA. Let's take a look at the National Basketball Association, and let's take a look at your top teams at home this year. Let's do against the point spread, because it's so easy to do the straight up, because we know it's Boston, the same cast of characters, right? But Oklahoma City Thunder 30-15 against the number, Utah Jazz 28-20, Pacers 26-20, Kings 26-17, Boston 25-19. And you know what's surprising right here? And think of market psychology, right? When you think of Boston, Sacramento, Indiana, not so much Indiana, but mostly Boston. The only A-type teams in the top five, but Sacramento, Pacers, Jazz, medium, middle of the class type teams. So market psychology, pretty medium, right? But look at Oklahoma City Thunder. This is where when you think about it, when you think of the market psychology, right? You think, I'm not betting on the Thunder. Even though they're 22-23, they're only one game below 500. They can be a B-type team any day now. But, the market psychology, it's about trusting those C's and B's, right? You're going to trust the A's, but it's just, they're always inflated in price, and you don't know, you want to lay 7, 8, 9 points, right? But you want to make money in sports betting, even Steven, right? Good old Seinfeld episode. Find those even Steven teams. And the A-type teams in the NBA, 78.6% winning their home games straight up, a combined record of 125-34. And on the road this year, look at the difference. Wow, this is huge. This is a big difference. A-type teams in the Rain Report: Boston, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Denver, Memphis. They all have a combined record of 78.6 at home, but look at their road record, 54.2. That's a Jekyll and Hyde syndrome right there, right? They're Jekyll at home, they hide on the road, and I would be curious to see their combined ATS record, right? I might do that just for shirts and giggles after. All right, New York, Indiana, Atlanta, Miami, Utah, Golden State, Sacramento, Dallas, New Orleans, B-type teams at home this year, 63.5, but look at their road record, 42.3. So the thing in sports betting, if you've been around this a long time, and you've got guys who just analyze everything, right? think about any system out there. It's been analyzed to death, but it comes down to a lot of things. And one of the things that I look at, home and road, right? Home and away, but it's not like this every year. It's just sometimes you get these lemon years where it's like, wow, look at this. The B-type teams only, and these are teams with, winning records, 50% or higher. These are teams with winning record, but they can't win on the road. 42.3% straight up. And then the C-type teams at home, 48.08. 31.7, and this is why I say it all the time. If you're gonna bet on sports and you got a low odds and you got a favorite, consider the money line. I showed you at the top of the show the SBI. Sometimes it's better to sweat out, not to sweat out those 2-3 points. Take the money line, spend the extra $10-$20, and your percentage will go higher in winning, and you'll have more fun doing it, right? Trust me, winning is fun. This just in, eh? Don't need to be Elon Musk to know that, or a rocket scientist. Yeah, winning, it is fun. Losing sucks, eh? Losing sucks. Let me just put it that way, right?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby, for sure. All right, let me see if my good friend Ross, the boss, is in the house. Nope, not yet. Hey, Ross likes to come right at the top of the hour, eh? Not an early bird, eh? He'd be never... all right, we'll just wait till he comes in, and we'll talk about that too. All right, what else do we got on deck here? So we did the SBI, we did the market, SBI market standings, and then we'll get right into the NFL. Also, if you're looking for value, we got a value report. You can always check out the value report right here, favorites and underdogs. And what I love about this feature, let's say in the NBA, you want to see what the average line is of teams in the NBA, like the A-type teams against other type teams. Like the one thing we do in sports is, like, especially if you play sports or you're coaching sports, is when you're facing an opponent, mentally, if you're an athlete or a coach, mentally, okay, we should beat these guys. We should really kill those guys. This team's going to give us some, they're going to give us some work here. This is going to be competitive. Those are the A-type teams, the B-type teams, and the C-type teams. And this is what the average line is for those type of teams against the A, Bs, and Cs at home and the A, Bs, and Cs on the road as a favorite. So when Boston's at home against those A-type teams, they are normally a 6-point favorite. And when they're on the road, they're a 2-point favorite. So look at that. That's a swing of 4 points. And when you look at Brooklyn, when they're at home against those A-type teams, -2. But look at the road, -4. So now you got to consider the strength of schedule, right? So this is a great feature. It comes with your membership. And check it out, atsstats.com. All right, let me go see if my good friend Ross, the boss, Benjamin, is in the house. Let me see if he's hey, some good NFL last weekend. And okay, we'll just give it a few seconds, see what the boom. All right. Yeah, so again, let's take a look at another team. Let's take a look at a B-type team. And if you guys got any questions for myself or Ross the boss, just post them into the chat box. And I want to wish everybody a good morning. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget, if you missed the live show, no worries. You can watch the replay here on our YouTube channel. All right, so when the New York Knicks are at home against those A-type teams, believe it or not, they're a -1.7 favorite. Hey, that's interesting. Not that it's how many occurrences though, right? How many times is New York going to be? That's probably like at the beginning of the year. So this is why you got to do your homework to see. But against those B-type teams, they're -4, and against C-type teams, -5. So you see the incline in numbers. So -1, if you round it off, -2, 4, and then -6 right there if you round it off, right? Interesting stats that you can use here. Oh, there he is. All right. Let's get Ross the Boss on the screen. And there he is. Top of the morning to Ross the Boss Benjamin. How you doing, buddy?
And the rest of the day to myself.
What's that?
As Curly would say. And the rest of the day to myself, as Curly would say on Three Stooges.
Right on. So, how are things?
I can't complain, buddy. On a nice run in college basketball right now.
Oh, nice.
40-28 since November the 17th. In college basketball, including 7-2 since Saturday, a 2-0 sweep last night with West Virginia and Marquette as winners. So things are going well. 2-2 in the NFL playoffs last week, but enjoyed a winning NFL regular season. And I'm sure I will be in the plus column by the time the NFL postseason is over as well, Ron.
Yeah, speaking of NFL, you know what? Good, decent games this past weekend, but the one thing that I observed is there really wasn't, except for the Giants, no real surprises, right? Nice comeback by the Jags, but those are teams that, like the Chargers. I look at the Chargers. You can make a case should they be in the playoffs. You can make a case also for Seattle. These borderline teams. Like, thanks for coming out. We just want to see, like, you're invited to the dance. We just want to see if you're for real and you can dance, right?
I much rather would have saw Detroit qualify than Seattle. I think that they would have been a lot more competitive team. They wouldn't have beat San Francisco, but I would go out on a limb and say, if indeed that ever was to transpire, they would have gave them a hell of a lot better game than Seattle did.
Yeah, and when I look at the other teams, like I've been saying, Minnesota's had the biggest rabbit's foot of all season, and they, when you run the football, that's what happens in the playoffs. You get it, and that's what I'm a little concerned about our Bills, right? Their defense. I'm gonna have to take out the Pepto-Bismol this Sunday watching that game, but it's Tampa Bay. Thanks for coming out. It's just. A losing team hosting a playoff game against the Dallas Cowboys with a winning record, right? When you look back, hindsight 2020, like coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I did have the Giants though. If there was one team I felt that would pull the upset, it was the Giants. And I thought that the Tampa Bay record of Tom Brady, the mystique of Tom Brady in the playoffs against the Cowboys. But you know what? You got to give credit to the Cowboys. They showed up and they played, right?
Yeah, I was with you on the Tampa Bay game. I lost that game. Actually, that was a 10-star top play, which now makes me 14-7 this year with NFL 10-star top plays. In terms of Buffalo, I get with the Pepto-Bismol thing with their defense. But, Ron, you look inside the numbers. They win that game 34-31, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. They only gave up 231 yards in that contest. I mean, bottom line is two of the interceptions, the only two interceptions Josh Allen threw, Miami returned them deep into Buffalo territory. So they had a short field there. They returned a punt, which Buffalo's special teams are usually sound, but they did return a punt against Buffalo to the Buffalo 40, creating another short field. And then, of course, the Josh fumble interception on the sack that was returned for a touchdown. So that's how you score 31 points with only 231 yards of offense. So, yes, they were playing a third-string quarterback. I get it. Yes, Cincinnati has far more offensive weapons at this point, especially a quarterback that Miami is going to present. But by the same token, this Cincinnati offensive line that I've praised over the last few weeks down the stretch, all of a sudden it's become very banged up, Ron. And you're looking at 2, possibly 3 starters on the offensive line not being there on Sunday. And we saw what happened with Baltimore last week. Cincinnati, very low output and on offensive production, had a real difficult time protecting a quarterback. And they couldn't run the ball on Baltimore's defense either, which Baltimore's good against the run to start with. But to me, I guess I'm trying to put a positive spin on your not negativity, but I understand,
concerns.
When it's your team,
concerns.
Yes, your concerns. Yes. So, and the problem is if Von Miller was playing in this game, I would be ecstatic and take Buffalo every time and any time, considering what Cincinnati's offensive line woes are right now, but he's not. But I still think the Bills will be primed and get decent enough pass rush, and their secondary, to me, is starting to show vast improvement now that Tre'Davious White is rounding into form. Kaiir Elam, the rookie first-round draft choice, finally starting to play like we expected him to. It took him some time. And Dane Jackson looks like he'll be back in the lineup too. And you know what? If they get beyond this round, there's hints of Micah Hyde coming back to the secondary. But getting beyond this round is going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah, and I'll pull a Ross Benjamin quote right here. Think like a bookmaker. And what, when that line came out, was it 5.5? I can't remember the.
Well, it opened at 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look at it right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Wager Talk odds. Buffalo opened at 4. Excuse me. And now they're up to 5 and 5.5.
But see, this is where I'm going with this. I'm like, okay, when we didn't know what the line was, what's your first base instinct, right? It's like, oh, this is gonna be like 2.5, 3. This is gonna be a field goal.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt, Ryan.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
But what's the bookmaker trying to tell the public, or like, what is he like? Why is he close? I call it a cautious line, right? It makes you think. Okay, why isn't this the standard 3? You got 2 pretty much equal teams. Games in Buffalo, it's 5, 5, 4.5, 5.5, wherever you shop. What's the bookmaker truly trying to tell us here?
Well, the bookmaker's truly trying to tell us that Cincinnati isn't the obvious underdog play a lot of people are predicting. A lot of people on the Cincinnati bandwagon right now, and rightfully so. But you know what? According to my database, NFL teams that are getting 3 or more points, underdogs that are getting 3 or more points, that have won 8 or more in a row, have gone 0-9 ATS in those last 9 situations. That's all NFL teams, not just Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So it's not as obvious as people would think. I can't imagine that the general public isn't going to side with the Bengals here, because, if you're just a casual observer and you're not a Buffalo fan, or it's somebody who watches Buffalo on a weekly basis because you had a vested interest, they don't pass the eye test for a lot of people. Right now, a lot of people are dabbing, or I should say, labeling them as, and how could I put this? They were the favorite to start the year.
Yeah.
And people have fallen off that bandwagon as well.
Oh, yeah, the bandwagon. It went from a train to a minivan.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
Well put.
Yeah.
Well put, Ron.
Our good friend, the Big Ragu, says, I need Pepto from a bad marinara sauce, but my Giants are the Tums. Go Giants. What's
Big
up,
Ragu,
Ross, my
how are you,
Pisano?
my man? All the best to you and your family, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Giants are going to be up against it, this week. But, here's the thing. This is why I'm probably leaning toward Philly, and no disrespect to my buddy. And I haven't made a clear decision yet, but think about it. If the Giants season ended on Sunday with it's Saturday or Sunday, whatever day they're playing.
The Giants are playing on Saturday night.
So Saturday night. If the Giants season ends on Saturday night with Philadelphia beating them 45-3, I would venture to say you would still, as a Giants fan, a Giants follower, or a objective NFL observer, you can still deem the Giants season to be successful.
Oh,
Ron,
absolutely.
because nobody expected this. And look what they're getting done with the wide receiver crew they got. I mean, right now their best wide receiver in terms of production down the stretch has been Isaiah Hodgkins, and that guy was on Buffalo's practice squad to begin the season. So, I mean, give a lot of credit to Brian Daboll. We know how good a defensive coordinator Wink Martindale is. Even though their defensive statistics aren't dominating, he still has done a marvelous job with the personnel he's had to work with. So, on the other hand, Ron, Philadelphia, if they don't win this game, the season's a failure, because they've been in the number one seed. They've been in the number one seed from just about early in the season on. They're fully expected by their followers, the NFL observers, and their fans, at the very least, to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what? And they're here. Like, they're supposed to be the team along with the 49ers in the NFC. Like, these opportunities don't come a lot in the NFL.
No.
And when you're here, you're right. If you don't win this weekend, then you fail. Like, if you lose in the conference final, then okay. but now you got to beat the beatable, like those games that you should beat, and especially when you're going in as what now, a 7.5, 7.5 point favorite. Yeah.
I mean, they beat the Giants at New York like something like 48-14, 48-20, something like that. They crucified them. They did struggle with them in the last regular season game, only winning 22-16. But the point being is one team right now, if the season ended today, would be absolutely elated, and the other team, it would be devastating if they lost to the Giants in that playoff game.
Yeah. All right. One last question on the Cincinnati Buffalo. I'm going to go back to the Bills.
That's okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Then give me a percentage of what you think. If the bookmakers come out and they make Buffalo a 3-point favorite, what do you think the ratio of Buffalo and Cincinnati bets would be?
I believe they would have been 50-50. I really do. I truly believe that. Do I think my mind would be that undecided? No. Okay. But in terms of people looking from the outside in and what they've observed, Cincinnati not only has been clearly the better team than Buffalo down the stretch, even though the Bills have won 8 in a row, right? But Cincinnati seems like they're the more enticing team when it comes to the eye test. Yeah. And then you throw them in the underdog role, but here's the thing I want to ask you, Ron. We talk about several different factors that we use when we handicap games, and especially as it applies to the NFL or college football. The emotional factor. I mean, again, I don't think this is considered enough. I mean, this is a Buffalo team that went through a lot of adversity this year. They lost their starting safety, all-pro Micah Hyde at the beginning of the year. Was thought to be out for the year. Might still come back. Who knows if they advance it, that is. And, two games in 4 days had to be played in Detroit because of the blizzard. They couldn't get to the facility. And then, of course, the near tragedy with DeMar Hamlin, which thank God has turned out to be a very nice story in the long run. But, emotion. And then, because, this is a team that's, it's Super Bowl or bust. And Sean McDermott is 4-0 as a head coach in Buffalo at home in the playoffs, including covering the last 3. So, just your thoughts on that.
Here's the thing. When I was coaching at Auto U, our head coach was Jamie Breezy, and I used to ask him all these questions all the time about, when he was down south and he was coaching college and the CFL. And he goes, you got to understand, he goes, in the pros, they play for the contract. He goes, because that's what puts the food on the plate. He goes, in the college, it's rah, play for the next guy beside you. It's the team that could it's the coaching staff that can get the players to play for each other in the pros. Yeah. That's the big difference. When players are not tight as a unit and they know that it's business and they whatever, win or lose, who cares? They get the contract, they get paid. But it's those teams that really care for each other and play for each other. And it's just not lip service. Like, you look at Buffalo, the Bills Mafia, those guys are engaged in the community, right? It's unbelielievable. Cincinnati, they it seems like they do have a good relationship with the community, with Joe Burrows, and they're starting to come together. And then the cigars after every victory. But those are little things when you talk about the emotions, and are they genuine? I'm a big genuine guy, right? Is it just for the cameras, or is it genuine that they care for each other? That's my opinion on some of these teams. Like, not every team's gonna, especially the losing teams, they probably just can't wait to get out of Dodge, or season's over, they're back home. But the teams that make the playoffs and they truly care for each other, and they want that ring, especially if some of these guys have older veterans who've never won a ring. That's really important to them, right? It's like personal trophies.
Yeah.
All right. So
so having said that, do you when you handicap this game, do you put a factor on that?
Not as much. Not as much. Like in the colleges, because the emotions in college football is it's unbelievable. Like, from a 1 to 10, you got a Michigan and Ohio State game, or you get a game like Oklahoma against Texas. Like, the emotions of those games, like we've seen it, like when people ask me, letdown factor in the pros, I don't really letdown factor. It's nothing compared to like what it is in college football, and look ahead.
It's
factors.
more of a sandwich game factor that I look
exactly.
at in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I look at it. So,
and here's the other point, if I can interject before I lose my train of thought. How many times have we heard over the last few seasons new players come to Buffalo and say how much they love it, and playing at home resembles a college football atmosphere like none other in the NFL. So, I mean, it goes hand in hand with your point as well.
Yeah, but I would love to know truly how they feel about the cold weather. Some of these guys come from like down south where they played in Louisiana, they played in Georgia, California, and I remember watching on Twitter, one guy, one of the Buffalo Bills player goes, "I've never seen so much snow in my life." He goes, "It's unreal," but that plays a psychological effect on you when you wake up.
Especially, I would think as a visitor, right? I mean,
even
though Cincinnati is a cold weather climate team, so I don't think that's going to be as much a factor as people might give it credit to be. But it's certainly, to me, more of a factor on a visiting team than it would be. I don't care if you played in Hawaii. If you're playing 8 home games a year in Buffalo, at some point you never get used to it, but you're able to fight through it a little better. That's just my take. I don't have any definitive evidence to show you or the viewers that's indeed a fact.
Yeah, no, it's all situational. Then you look at last week in Buffalo, you thought you were in Miami. Like the sun was just beautiful,
sunny day. It
was an awesome day. All right, All right, let's get to the game of your choice here this week. Ross, you want to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, KC enjoyed a little bit of R&R last week. They didn't play, while Jacksonville needed some heroics to beat the Chargers 31-30. And to me, it's like the Doug Peterson effect, right? When you go and you get a guy like Doug Peterson, he comes in and he just he knew he had a big job ahead of him to really wipe off what happened last season and then come in and fix everything. What a season the Jaguars had this year. Now you got to go to Arrowhead, the stadium, the noise, the tradition, the fans. We just talked about the emotional. Here's where this can come in effect this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're looking at one team that if they lose, the season's a monumental failure, where another team, if they lose, it's like Doug Peterson, great job in the first year, 4-8, won a playoff game, won 6 in a row going into the KC game. We could live with that. The future's bright. So in terms of that, it's similar to what we talked about with Buffalo and Cincinnati Philadelphia and the Giants. But I'm going to concentrate on the total here. I mean, if you look, Andy Reid in home playoff games since January 20th of 2019, the Kansas City Chiefs have played 6-1 to the over in their home playoff games when the total was 56 or less, which it qualifies here at 52.5. Though, a matter of fact, those 7 games that I just referred to, their average total in those 7 games was 52.2, ironically, and there was 66.1 points scored per game. The only under was in last year's AFC title game against Cincinnati. In that game, the Bengals won 27-24, and it barely stayed under the total of 54. So as you can see, Kansas City home playoff games in recent years have been high-scoring affairs. The first meeting between these teams earlier this year, Kansas City won 27-17 at home, but they should have scored a lot more, Ron. They were plagued by 3 turnovers. They racked up 486 yards of total offense in that game against Jacksonville. Normally, when you get that type of offensive production and total yards, you're scoring well into the 30s, sometimes in the low 40s. Jacksonville, they are their last 5 non-division, when the total is 41.5 or greater, which it is here. They played 4-1 to the over in those games, and the average total being 45.6. So again, this looks to be a prime spot for a high-scoring game, even for the Jaguars. And as a matter of fact, if they were an underdog of 9 or less in those last 5 non-division away games when the total was 41.5 or greater, they played 5-0 to the over. So Jacksonville's also gone over in their last 3 games whenever there's been a number of 45 or greater. In those 3 games, 63 points per game were scored, which indicates to me that they were either playing a team with a so-so defense, the bad defense, and an opponent also that was high scoring. So it looks like when they match up with teams similar to Kansas City, which there's not a lot of them out there that could put up the kind of offense they could, it's produced high scoring games down the stretch. And since 2017, Rom, playoff away underdogs with a total of 52 or greater, and they're coming off 6 or more wins in a row, like the Jaguars are, 4-0 to the over. Not many situations like that, but they played 4-0 to the over, 62.3 points scored per game. And, this just to me has all the signs and earmarks of a 38-24, 38-31 type of game to me.
I agree.
So I'm going to go Jacks in KC over the total of 52.
Yeah, and if you allow me, I'll put a cherry on top of that with a stat. Is anytime you got a road team that allowed 30 points against since 1983, 13-5 to the over. So I'm with you.
There you go.
I love that 38. What'd you say? 38 type of score?
38-31, 38-24 in that range there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can see that sounds like a Kansas City number.
Yeah, well, like Kansas City, Ron, I mean, if they do have a vulnerability over the last few years, it's their defense. I wouldn't consider them as elite. I mean, they do a decent job, but they have been vulnerable at times to give up a lot of yards and points. And so if you're going to expose anything in Kansas City, that's the way to go. And you know what? The first round games, how about 5-1 to the over in those 6 games? Wow. And the only under was that Dallas-Tampa Bay game that finished 31-14 and went under 45.5 by half a point. And we had a field goal kicker who set a record by missing 4 extra points in a single game, which has never happened in the NFL.
I feel bad for the guy because he used to kick here in Ottawa for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Yeah, you know what, Ron? Yeah, they were saying that on the sidelines they were extremely concerned because on a couple of occasions he was about 10 yards or 5-7 yards away from kicking into the net, and he had missed the net completely.
Oh my God.
And pushed it into the stands. So I mean, hey, big stakes right now. They got away with it the last time, but I feel bad for the kid. But as Dallas management and coaching staff, that could cost you a game against better competition. So
yeah. Was he released this week? I thought he
was. Yes, he was released.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know. Yeah. See, with Twitter now, you don't know if it's a parody account or a joke or anything like that. Yeah. So, all right. So Ross the Boss likes the over 52.5 between the Jags and the Chiefs, and I agree with him. I like the over in that one too. Now, Ross, what else you got on deck this weekend? In the will you have any more NFL picks in the members area?
Yeah, not yet, but I will have picks in all 4 games, whether it be a side and a total. I will have a 10-star top play. You don't want to miss one of those. Yes, I failed last week. That only means I'm going to win this week.
Exactly.
I haven't lost 2 NFL 10-star top plays in a row at any time this season. Not only 14-7 this season, but going back to 2021, those picks are on a 24-12 run. Again, NFL regular season, we ended up somewhere around 57%, made our clients a decent amount of money. And also, I finished the college football season and bowl season on a terrific 18-7 run. Why am I mentioning that? Because those are big-time games, including 3-0 in the college football playoffs, which you could equate somewhat to the NFL playoffs, where you got high-caliber competition playing each other. So a lot of good things. And like I said, college basketball, folks, don't forget me there. I mean, you're leaving money on the table of late. 2-0 last night, 7-1, 7-2 since Saturday, and since November 17th, 40-28 in college basketball. So lot of good things that you could take advantage of at atsstats.com.
Absolutely. And folks, if you know what, if you want to do a test trial, buy his picks for 1 week and watch how it is at the end of the week, and then you will see if Ross is the guy for you to help you with your selection. But I guarantee you bet Ross's pick for 1 week, and you'll be very happy you did. All right, Ross.
Could I just promote one other thing,
Yeah,
Ron,
absolutely.
if I may?
Yeah.
I want to remind the folks that I host the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast Monday through Friday on the OSGA, that's OSGA YouTube channel. And I would invite you folks, plenty of free picks on each show. We give out 2 free picks on each show. Last week we did 7 shows, college basketball and NFL combined. Similar type of schedule this week as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and you got some good cappers there too, Big Al and all those guys.
Yeah, Big L, Jesse Schul.
Yeah.
You're looking at Doug Upstone from Doc Sports.
Yeah, Dougie. Yeah.
And then Sean Higgs, who had a tremendous NFL season from picksandparleys.net.
Yeah, you know what? Because we're only once a week, and people want their fix, that's where to go. If you like Ross Benjamin's opinion on sports, if once you don't get him here Thursday, you can find him at the OSGA YouTube channel.
Too, Ron, we do exactly what you do. It's not about just a free pick video, and to steal a phrase from Ron's mother, what's your hurry? Here's your coat. Okay. And yes, everybody wants a free pick winner. Everybody doesn't want to pay. They want to win by paying nothing. And then, them bashing the guy after he loses a game. But at the same time, our podcasts, like the ones that Ron puts out here, are educational too. I mean, yes, you're going to get 2 free picks at the end of the show, but our goal is to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. And we got a lot of good people who are very qualified to do so.
Oh, and you know what? The conversations we have, these are what a lot of the people, the viewers are thinking about, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, they're sitting there. I wonder, like the bookmakers, how they're thinking, how they get that number. And that's why I love when we get these Thursday shows that we get inside the bookmaker's head and we think like a bookmaker, right? We think of
you have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to be successful in this industry, for example, last night, folks, I had West Virginia, not to keep repeating that, but I was looking at an unranked team in West Virginia. There was a 2.5 point favorite against the number 14 team in the country in TCU. It's like, okay, we got an unranked team as a 2.5 point favorite. If the game was at TCU, they would only be a 3.5 point dog.
Yeah.
And, so those types of situations are what to look for, because the average person without that mindset is going to say, number 14 team in the country, and they're getting 2.5 against an unranked team. You know what I mean? So that's thinking like a bookmaker.
And that's what I call experience. When you get someone like us who's been around, it's not our first barbecue, and fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on fool me, whatever that saying is. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But that's the thing that there was a couple lines this week in the NHL. I'm like, okay, I'm not biting into that. So like last night, Pittsburgh, right? I said, okay, even though it went to overtime, we got lucky, but it's just those lines that you can't get sucked into, right?
Absolutely. And if you think it's too good to be true, more times than not it is when it comes to sports betting. So
awesome. All right, Ross the Boss Benjamin, you can get his picks here this weekend, and Ross will have those picks up either Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, they'll be up by Friday early, either Friday morning or early Friday afternoon. So you'll have plenty of time to purchase them and make some money. Folks, take advantage of it. We do this for a living. This is all I do for a living, and that's what Ron does as well. And he's been doing it a lot longer than me, believe it or not. So,
that's why we're a good indulge. That's why we're a good tag team. Hey, we'd be good in the WWF or WWE.
Yeah, I'd take you as my tag team partner anytime. Buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy. All right. Thanks, buddy. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday.
You too, Ron. Take care, and say hello to Mrs. Raymond for me.
I will. All the best.
All right. Take
All
care
right,
now.
that is
Bye.
Ross the Boss Benjamin. You can find Ross here every Thursday at the website. And again, Ross, he just said it. He didn't have a good 10-star play last week. I think he had Tampa Bay. But the one thing with Ross, Mr. Bounce Back for sure. All right, my play this weekend. I'm gonna go to the Saturday night game between the Giants and the Eagles. And I said it earlier, when you can run the football. And you can dominate in the trenches, you break their will. That's what the Giants did last week. I'm going to go with the New York Football Giants this week and look at their record against A-type teams. Anytime the Giants on the road against those A-type teams, 6-0 against the point spread. Give me an 8-1 against the point spread this year. Give me the New York Giants plus 7.5. That is my free play this weekend here on the Raymond Report. All right, folks, let's get to your stats and trends of the day. And where's my good friend AI?
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
No, it's not silly at all because we are talking about the 80% Club stats. You can get the 80% Club stats each and every day right here at atsstats.com. Hey, it's in the name, right? What's that? If it's in the game, it's in the name. EA Sports, yeah. Well, ATS Stats, 80% Club stats. The Boston Celtics, anytime they're a 3.5 to 6.5 point home favorite, totals 220 or more. The last 4 years, they are 12-1 straight up in their next game. And you can get all these stats for free just by visiting our website right here at atsstats.com. All right, that's the show for today. 1 hour and 4 minutes, I believe. And thanks again for tuning in to the Raymond Report. My name is Ron Raymond. Again, I want to thank my friends at bestodds.com for the beautiful sweatshirt. Will, Lucas, and Philip, those are the good guys over there. And maybe go check out their website. Go to check out bestodds.com. Tell them Ron sent you and say, hey, we hear you got a good website and we want to check it out. Have yourself a great rest of your Thursday. I want to thank the Bullpen again for tuning in each and every week. And we'll see you guys here next Thursday on the Raymond Report. All right, I got one more job to do, and where's Harry Carey?
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey from Wrigley Field on a beautiful day for baseball. To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Joe, own the Chiefs.
Owns. I don't know.
Struggling.
Can we have fun? You're damn right. I demand that we have fun.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Straight cash, homie.
Holy cow.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
What the hell's going on out here? Woo! If you smile, what the rock is cooking.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Let's go to eat a goddamn snack.
Hey, yeah, what you look over there?